Love, love, until I be but breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello, welcome to the Spirit of Life program. My name is Lucia Pace, and today my guest is Melesete Ierome, a Samoan woman who has had an amazing turnaround story. Mel, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now tell us about your story, Mel. You've had a lovely childhood.
Yes, I've had a really beautiful childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being loved by my whole family.
Mm-hmm.
I was very spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my family attending a lot of ministries in the church.
Yes.
Like Sunday school, choir, altar service, cleaning the church, and doing all sorts of stuff with the church.
Okay.
But I remember now, thinking about it, I was only doing it because I had to do it for my family.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do it because your family was doing it.
It was the done thing, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes. The Lord was nowhere to be found in my life then.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in my early teenage years,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I was sexually abused by someone that I knew very well.
Mm-hmm.
And that lead for me, I was a very difficult person to live with.
Mm-hmm.
I had so much anger in me. I was very cruel to people. I was very selfish because I was loved. My ego went up the roof, and I had so much pride in myself and in my family because my family were, I can't say rich, but they were well known in the village. Yeah, they were comfortable with the way we were living back then. So my pride was very much like no one mattered but myself.
Yes.
And plus, I was adopted. I didn't realize. But when I found out at the time too that I was adopted away to one of my aunties, that lead for me gave me many questions of why was I adopted away? So many questions that needed to be answered, but I didn't ask anyone for help. The Lord was nowhere to be found.
No.
At all.
Mel, it sounds like you're very hard on yourself to say you were selfish, and you obviously experienced a lot of love from your family. However, on the same token, you also felt abandonment and rejection when you found out you were adopted, and also the fact that you were tampered with by a friend. Obviously, the anger and the rebellion is the normal reaction that someone would. So it's just struck me that you're a little bit hard on yourself to say that you were full of pride, but I think you were obviously struggling with some very mixed emotions in your life. But carry on, tell us what happened there. So, you come from a large family, do you?
Yes, a very large, beautiful family. No matter what my family did or gave to me, they gave me so much love, but that wasn't enough for me.
Yes.
It wasn't enough for me, so they decided for me to move to New Zealand for a better life, but they didn't realize them moving me to New Zealand didn't make it any better for me. I got worse because I had so much freedom in New Zealand. I didn't want to go back to school. I had to go to work, and that was a lot. I had so much freedom. And God was nowhere in my life then. Yeah.
So you're now a really devoted, faith-filled woman and very in love with God.
Yes.
And have encountered God. How did that actually happen?
The many relationship breakups that I had and me losing my loved ones, that lead for me to turn to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, let me go back.
Mm-hmm.
The ups and downs that I went through of life, having had fun with friends,
Mm-hmm.
and me having found out that I became pregnant.
Okay.
I became pregnant not having a marriage partner, because that was something really big
Mm-hmm.
in our culture. And, as a Catholic and as a Christian, that's a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
To be pregnant and not living with a not being married,
Mm-hmm.
that was actually an eye-opener for me.
Mm-hmm.
So even though at the time I heard a child was a gift from God, didn't make it any better for me. It led me to so much stress because I didn't know what to do. I had no one to look to. God was not a person for me to talk to. I find it, me having to look at the Bible, the Bible was the hardest book for me to understand in those days. So I had nowhere to turn to.
Right.
at the
It
time.
sounds like you knew about God up here, but
Yeah.
you hadn't encountered God
No.
at that point of your life. We're going to a break now,
All right.
and I'll be interested in taking up your story when we come back.
All right.
We'll see you back shortly.
Till I be but breath of the Spirit flowing in me. Love, love, till I be but breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Welcome back. You're watching the Spirit of Life program. Lucia Pace is my name, and my guest today is Melesete Ierome. Hi, Mel.
Hi.
Before the break, you shared with us that you had fallen pregnant out of wedlock. Would you like to take up your story from that point, please?
Yes. What I didn't say before too was throughout my life, I was always seeking the approval of others. It was like everything I do, I had to do it for other people.
Yes, you became a people pleaser.
Yes. Me being pregnant, I worried more about what other people will think and say of me
Yes,
before I even think about myself.
yes.
I don't know whether I was praying, but I remember feeling so depressed. I had to think about it I had to sit back and pray. I can't remember praying, but I had to sit back and think, how am I going to tell my family members, and what if other people will find out that I'm pregnant and not married, not in a relationship, what are they going to say? I was always worrying about what other people will think instead of worrying about myself or looking
Has
after
that
myself.
changed now? Has that changed now?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And what caused
really
the change?
has. I've decided to keep my son. Thank you, Lord.
Yes.
He was a gift from God for
Yes.
me. 2006, I decided for him to be baptized. So we went and saw.
How old was your son then?
It's 9 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was actually in a relationship with his dad
Mm-hmm.
before that. But it was my looking back at it, the Lord has healed me. I blame others instead of myself. Even though I was in a relationship as well. You know, it was always his fault, not my fault.
Which
never
is
my
quite
fault.
common, yes. So at what point, you said before you took your son to be baptized, and I asked you, has that changed in terms of pleasing others? And you said, yes, it has, but how did that get changed?
I went to take him for, I went to talk to the parish priest at Springvale. And then the priest said to me, what would you like for your son? And then I said, baptism. What he said to me afterwards really got me thinking. And I think that was a turning point for me. He says to me, do you realize that you are responsible for your son's faith?
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was that question that caused you to really reflect on the responsibility you're taking on here with christening your son.
Yes, that was when I decided I have to get him baptized. You know, I didn't want to be responsible for my son not having faith.
Yes.
That's when I know there was a God.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And then after my son